Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to IGP101 episode 8. Is that 8? 8. Yes, it is. Where we will look at and I guess discuss this world of that illusion where you take something two-dimensional and make it three-dimensional. It's like a little mini obsession of mine. So by adding some colors, with some dark and leaving some light, not necessarily lighting with an actual white pencil, but leaving some light, you end up potentially creating the illusion of shadows and therefore making something 3D. So let me go through a couple of examples a little bit quickly, and then we will kind of go through it. So there is a classic way that you can make something look 3D, and you see this a lot in architecture, where you create a weave where it looks as though that the lines, they're not a single line, they're thickened up like channels, and they look like they're going under and over and under and over. So if we zoom into this one, well, actually, all three of these. This is another pattern that I've taught previously, but you can see how these lines, some of these weaves are so dodgy, by the way. They're going over, over. Here it's going under, over. So this idea that there's this kind of under and over business, you can see how it can be done here. Well, by thickening up the lines, erasing some bits, and even adding shadows. You can also make that illusion in a little bit more of a graphic way by leaving these tiny little gaps. And then finally, kind of like the simplest of them all is this kind of thickening up of the line and again, erasing some parts so it looks like it's going under and over. So I do this a lot and you can see it potentially. Let's see if I can turn this over so you can see through it. You can see it in these. Now, please do count the petals. I know they might look like lovely rosettes, but they're actually 9 pointed rosettes. So I gathered all the things that I've done before where I might have done this kind of idea of 3D up a pattern and bringing it all today here. So some of them, they're not looking 3D. So it's just thickening up the lines and you can have this kind of crisscross like a checkerboard. Some are black, some are white. Here you've got that 3D look again. But this is quite a fun thing to do, where it looks like it's literally stone, like beveled stone cut. And you can see how the light and the shadows and so on can make it look 3D. So this is one of my favorite things to do. And I can see I've done it twice here. Okay, so let me put this aside for a second. I'm just going to try and make sure I don't lose track of anything. So yeah, here you can see another effect, but it's not that 3D illusion. It's just really nice and detailed. So the chiseled effect is really what I'd like to go into a little bit more. And here you can see this weave again. They're looking like they're going under and over, but it's just leaving a cut, like a gap, about a millimeter. So that's kind of another one. And then this one you can see in my sketchbook, and you can see here as well. Let's see which way around. Yeah, this is probably the right way around to look at it. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, look, so for me, I love working on something like this, where you've got some, let me point at it with an actual pointy thing. You've got some parts of the pattern that are looking really light, and then some that are looking really shadowy. And so it might look in this case that there's actual holes in the shape, and the chisel effect is sort of the lines are kind of above that. Okay. With this one, I brought with me some white luster paint. So I ended up painting this. But again, if you look at this, you might be able to think it's looking 3D. The whole thing is looking like it's lifting off. So I'm not one to kind of concentrate so well that I do it so perfectly for the whole piece. I end up getting carried away. So if you do see any inconsistencies in my 3D effect, which sometimes I feel like architectural type people have pointed out and they said, oh, your shadowing is inconsistent. I'm like, yeah, I know. Have you met me? I'm inconsistent. So it's just one of those things that I end up losing concentration because I work on it so many times. So I end up kind of yeah, making a few mistakes. But I still think it looks effective then. I want you to sort of see if you can spot the difference here, because I think the thing I did here, let me just check where the circle is. Oh no, I did. So these, both of them, I basically drew either side of the line. So let's have a look at doing such a thing. And I'm going to, actually, before I do that, I found a drawing which to me is looking really flat. So I want to take this idea of adding shadows. So this is an old drawing and I've got some felt tip pens. And I just want to sort of simply show how you can start creating this idea of the pattern or the shapes lifting up. So let me just show you what I've got here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little. So not only is this a drawing, it's a pretty rough drawing. There's some sort of dodgy paint going on there, but let's transform it. Okay, so the first pen I've got, it's a felt tip pen. Let's draw somewhere here. So it's just going to give me a black line. Okay, and the next pen I'm going to use it's a brush pen, so something like that. So it gives another thick black line. But then I'm also including a grey line. And ideally what I would have liked is a grey brush marker. So all of those are in black and grey. I've got my little box of felt tip pens and I'm just going to pull out a couple more just to see if I can do the same thing with another set of shades to give you this idea of if you just have three colours that are sort of going from light to dark, it's something you can do in other colours as well. So here, I'm going to just show you again. So I'm basically testing out which will be my darkest ones and then which will be my sort of middle ones. Oh, this is looking good. And having a black felt tip pen definitely helps. Okay, so that last one is a bit too orange. So I'm actually going to do it with a combination of these pens. Okay, so I'm going to definitely have a black outline. And then I might actually have, let's see if I can pick the right one. Yeah, a grey. Sorry, that's not grey. A brown shadow. And then maybe if I can see how it behaves with the other one, a lighter shadow. Where did I get rid of this one for? Let's see. Okay, so when I'm picking my colours, I am doing this sort of thing. Let's start with the middle one and begin. So what we've got to think about is there's going to be a light source somewhere. And when it hits that side of a shape, so for example, that side, there won't be light on this side, but on the other side of the shape, there will be a shadow. So the shadows are the things we're going to add. So I'm going to put in my light source in this direction. Okay, I usually do mine in such a way that it's from the top left or top right. Now, imagine this pink shape. The light is going to hit on this side, but it's not going to hit on this side. So I'm going to put in this light brown line. Oh, so it begins. I'm actually going to be bold and do it thicker. The same with this shape. It's hitting the other side of the shape. And you can go around the whole drawing by adding in these shadows. Now, some of them might be a little bit harder to figure out. So what I do is I ignore them for the time being. But already, if you look at this one shape, it might be looking like it's popping off the page. Just that one little three-pointed star. I'm leaving that for a second. This one, the light's definitely going to hit. This one might be a little bit tricksy, so I'm going to leave it. I'm quite good at just leaving things that are unclear till later. But all of these, they're definitely on that side. Now, I've made that a little bit thin, so I need to just match the thickness because I want them to look as though these pieces are the same depth. Okay, and again, going around. And you sort of like, with your eyes, zooming in and zooming out, okay? And because this is often work that takes layers of effort, and not necessarily you'll do it in one go, you kind of want to keep looking at it and seeing if that illusion is being created. I like the fact that I'm able to cover up some of these mistakes. They're a bit dodgy. But like already, I would say it's so transformative. And like for me, that is sufficient. So all these pink shapes, if I was to sum it up, Subatra, the color being used here is the medium shade. Yeah, I basically am I'm leaving black. Okay, I will use black in a second, but I'm using the one that was somewhere in the middle. Oh, here it is. So this one is the one I'm using. Just because I can then lay it all out and not worry too much if it's, not quite perfect. Okay, I'm always not quite perfect with what I do, but I kind of have ways of getting around it just by somehow just kind of, what's the word? Hedging my bets a little. So I'm not committing to the black straight away. Now, the thing that happens is a bit like what's happening right now. I talked, I looked at the screen, I looked back, I thought, where did I get to? And you can somehow kind of get lost in where you're up to and maybe become a little bit inconsistent. So a good thing to do is take each shape. So look at this shape. Imagine the light's approaching it from here. This little side here, I'm going to come to in a second. This one's fine. This one, I definitely can see that there'll be a shadow here. And because I'm doing it, now will it be this one? So the light, imagine the light's hitting it there. That side of it is going to get some light. That side of it might get some light as well. So I'm going to leave that one. This one I'm happy with. Again, the sides that are either facing the light, okay, or maybe are parallel to the light, I might just leave for a second. I think there would be a shadow here, but we'll come back to it. So I'm not too fussed if it's imperfect. This one I think might have a light, but yeah, I'm going to leave it. Anything I'm not sure of, I leave. Like it doesn't matter to me too much. Like already, so effective. Okay, that one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Now I'll check these ones. Oh, so here I can see there'll be something here. This one, leave that. Maybe this side, leave it. This one, maybe. So something like this line and this line, I might end up doing them differently to each other. Another part of my brain. But we'll leave it. Okay, so I've generally got my shading in. Now, whether you want to thicken this up, okay, by adding another line of the lighter brown, but can you see this lighter brown is so much lighter? I think it won't look like a shadow anymore. It look like light. So I'm abandoning that. And then what I'm going to do is take the black line and really just make that edge that I did in the medium one a thin line and define it. Okay, so this is really now kind of doubling up and confirming the shadow. And maybe in doing that, I might be able to confirm some of the ones that I've left blank. Because perhaps I could put the black line there rather than the actual shadow. So it's still going to be something and nothing. So this first thing that I'm showing, this first demonstration, is just about adding shadows. And it can be done to pretty much any pattern, any shape. And I took something that I think looked pretty flat. Okay? It didn't look like it was 3D. But now, if I was to squish my eyes a little bit, I think it is looking pretty poppy in 3D. And it's such a simple look to do, and it's super effective. Now I can kind of go back sort of over the back line and just make the edges a little bit more consistent, the thickness of it a bit more consistent, and where they are meeting the edges, make those a little bit more consistent. You end up with dilemmas like this, where is this shape above this shape? Like, what is going on? And so on. Okay? That you could say is done. If you then add to the party colouring pencils, something like this, you've got something which is a bit of the pencil version of the middle brown, you can then start sort of making it a little bit softer if you wish. So, like shadows sometimes aren't as kind of necessarily, what's the word? Cartoony as felt pen. So I think adding like a pencil line can work. And so all I'm doing is going on top of the brown and then just extending it a tiny bit, teeny tiny bit. Now I learned all of this just by messing around, literally. You look at then other work and think, what have they added? What is that? And then you think, okay, I'll add that. And I've seen the ones where they add highlights, but I don't really have that many pens that I have the ability to highlight white pencils or white pens. I think I do somewhere, but they don't necessarily give me the look I'm after. The other thing is, the more you do it, the more you realize, okay, I've gone too far, I've gone too little, and so on and so forth. The other thing you can do, get another color. So maybe a little lighter. Oh, that's so orange. Now, this is the other thing with when you're picking these colors. You don't want to commit to a really dark color and then it look terrible. So I could actually, with a sort of even lighter color than that I've used, is just kind of basically fill the whole shape in as like a behind the pink. So this part is a little bit optional, but sometimes having just a blank white kind of goes away from the illusion of the fact that you're trying to make it look like it's popping. So something like that. And then when you have those, you can extend them a little bit. And honestly, you can do these things quite roughly and it's so effective. It's looking effective. There we go. Okay, so that's example 1 done. And all we've done is taken a line drawing. So this is just a line drawing and basically added a medium brown, maybe a thicker line, and then added a thinner black line, and then also added sort of a shadowiness throughout. I still did manage to disguise this, but such is life. And now if I kind of look at it sort of with your eyes squinted, I don't know if you can see, but I'm really squinching my eyes. Okay, so making my eyes quite narrow so I can just try to see minimal. It's like your brain is then happy to join in the illusion. And then, sorry, I'm going to do one more thing. Those white lines that were maybe, we're not sure about, you could put in maybe the medium pencil or the medium line. So they were all the ones that were sort of parallel to what I'm doing now in this direction. So then you can kind of give them a little bit of definition. I did that but only a little bit, not too much. So then that helps as well. Okay, it looks like a cutout placed on the paper. Subhatra, are you saying exactly what I need you to say right now? Because I'm squinching my eyes and I'm like, is it working? Is it working? Yeah, and if you're saying that, then I'm glad it is. Also, your brain is such a strange mechanism. It sort of thinks, hey, is this supposed to be 3D? Okay, I'm going to go with it. And it sort of just kind of plays along. So, like those illusions, half the time your brain is going through its, I guess, Rolodex of what it's seen before and thinks, okay, I've seen shadows and stuff before. Oh, yeah, but it was like pieces sticking out on a wall. Okay, so this is pieces sticking out a wall. And then, you pick it up and you're like, oh, it's not. So your brain is happy to play along with illusions. Okay, so that's our first little example. The next thing I wanted to show is what about if you've got a drawing and, how you can make it a little bit more 3D. So I'm going to do this on tracing paper just because it's a good way of me demonstrating something. And I want to demonstrate a little bit of a slightly different technique than I've done before. I might actually just trace this because all the lines are there. Okay, so I'm going to attach tracing paper and tell you about my day because I was a little bit delayed, so I'm really sorry about being late. What happened was a really lovely family friend of ours that I've known since before I was born. Our dads were friends way back when in the 60s. Um, she invited us over for lunch, and honestly, it's just like, by the time, and one of my friends, her car was not working. So therefore, the normal journey ended up being much longer because, like, of course you gotta give your friend a lift. So yeah, the time was flying. We were having a lovely time, and then the traffic, and just a little bit of an extra journey, and yeah. So I was like, I'm so lucky that I get to work in a world where I can just slightly cancel or postpone things, and it's not too much of a trauma. And I'm sorry if it is inconvenient, but I always say there's no emergencies in art, genuinely. So you can actually have these moments, and it's not life or death. I don't know what I'd do if I worked in any sort of world where the consequences of something would be so much more greater. That's a tough thing to do. So yeah. And then my friend had a plum tree in her garden, and we literally have picked so many plums that we're hopefully going to be able to give to friends and neighbors a little later on today or tomorrow. So yeah, like literally bags full of plums. Okay, so all I've done is trace this pattern, and I want to show you how potentially you can make some of these pieces. Sarah Beth saying, opportunity losing with Smira Escher. So something like this, how can we make it pop? Or how can we make some of the pieces look like they're popping off the page? So if I show you something I've done before, this kind of chiseled look, here we go, something like this. What I want you to notice is when you do something like this is the pattern line, and then you draw something either side of it, okay? And then you can have one side that's got the shadow and one side that's got the light, and then the middle part could be a hole. So like literally this is like a bit of kind of carved plaster sitting on a surface. But I saw a picture by somebody where she had just basically done the shapes as raised shapes. And I was like, have I done that? I'd like, like, I'm not sure whether I've done that. So then I started getting a little bit obsessed by that. So what we're going to do for this is something slightly different that I haven't done before. Is we're just going to draw inside every single one of these shapes the shape that is smaller than it, okay, than it, just sitting inside it. Let me do a little gentle sketch so you can see what I mean. So just inside of this shape, I'm drawing another shape, something like that. When I'm deciding the thickness I want to go to, I will go to my actual smallest shape, which is this kite, and try to figure out the thickness that I'm going to draw parallel to and within each shape. That was such a dodgy drawing. So I'm going to pick up another pencil. Why are they all blunt? There you go. So something like this. So I don't want my thickness to be so thick that it ends up getting rid of that shape altogether. Okay, let's fix the blur and let's have a go. So this now is done. Now, the beauty of me trying it out there is then I can put my ruler against this line, sorry, against that line, but parallel to this line, and then I can draw the shape in. Now, I'm quite good at trying to know where that line ends. So imagine it's got to be shorter on both sides, and you're just drawing inside it. Now, that might not look like anything, but if I now put my ruler here, you can see why I stopped it there. And you're trying to visualize the inner corners and where they might stop. If this is hard to do, please, please, please let your line go further and you can erase the excess. I have that awful, awful thing where I've just done it so many times that I'm quite good at it. Blessings. And the annoyance of me trying to demonstrate it and pretend that I can't see it. It's a little bit tricksy. So you end up drawing a shape inside of each of these shapes. I love, love, love doing this. I saw some of my artist friends do this to such a nice level. I don't think he's on Instagram anymore, but Reinald Geomicon. I remember once he did something, and I was like, oh my God, it literally looks like it's see-through. Like the 3D-ness was sitting on some sort of a sketch. The underlying grid was there, but it looked so proper and 3D. So this thickness, I'm just mimicking it throughout, trying to keep it consistent. You can measure it. You can definitely measure it. Let's zoom out a bit because I think I'm getting a bit, there we go. But if you are okay to trust your eye, then go for it. Okay? So you can see how the shape's coming together. And some of it, if it's hard to kind of see or do, can you see here, perhaps I've gone a little bit not as long as I should have. So you can fix things. I'm noticing you're not being able to see because my camera's in the way. Something like that. And because you're doing the same shape several times, you kind of get a sense of where you're stopping and starting. Okay. Okay. The magic for this one I love because it's one where I think it's really cool. We'll see if it's cool, shall we? And, well, hopefully it will be. Okay, so all of those are done. And I haven't really done all of the outer shapes, but what should happen is this and this should line up. So using all of these lines as a guide, I can put something in all of the shapes. Okay, let's do another one. And I'm rotating my paper rather than rotating my ruler. You see I'm just sliding it around underneath. It's easier to then fix what's going on. Even as I'm doing it, I can see that's a little bit thinner than that. Your level of perfection and accuracy will be different to another person's. And most people are a lot more precise and accurate than me. But I do something which perhaps is my little superpower, which is I practice loads. So then I get better at doing something. But then they do something where they do it to a bit more of a detailed level. I'd like to get things done. So whatever your sort of way is of doing it, adapt to that. Don't think that you have to do it the same as me if you want to do it more precisely. But yeah, it's all happening. And because I'm doing on tracing paper, I think I will be able to fix some things. Let's see. Okay. Quick scan around. And now we are going to do the other side. I might do it like this because, oh, I think I've just realized I've missed something, but it's okay. So when you're doing this sort of thing, you can probably see I'm doing it quite robotically. And you might miss certain bits and bobs. And then that's what you do a little inspection of afterwards. Okay, so the idea for this one is the optical illusion is that each of these pieces is going to be like a raised tile, a raised beveled edged tile, not necessarily a raised channel. So the shapes, I want them to pop. Okay, so it's actually not drawing either side. I've only drawn inside every single shape parallel to the edge. Some of the little shapes are so annoying because they kind of become something and nothing. I'm excited for this. I had like the idea that I wanted to render the pattern that we did last month, this month, but it hadn't quite occurred to me how I was going to do it. And then when this occurred to me, I was very excited because I was like, yes, I haven't done that. Okay, so now let's have a little scan around. And so you're going to just go to every single shape like a machine and check that they all have all their sides. Don't worry too much if they're not perfect, because you can always, like I'm doing now, complete corners, and then in a second I can erase things as well. These pure little, there we go. There we go. So once you've done all the lines, making sure that they are there, you can then erase things. So I'm using the end of my, oh, let's see if I can find a pen that has an actual end. Oh, not one of them is having, oh, no. Oh my God, how can this be I started with the one I started with. So the idea is anything that is an overshoot, I'm erasing. So I'm just trying to get rid of anything that shouldn't be there because it went too long in terms of the line I drew. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now, this is half of the magic. The next bit of the magic is you visualize this inner shape, okay, going to each corner. So from its corner to its corresponding outer corner. So something like this. Okay, so I've just done it there. Something like this, and something like this, and something like this, something like this, something like that. So that one shape, like the beveled edges of a jewel, kind of are giving it 3D. So then what you might want to do is add shadows. Now, when you do this beveled edge, what's really cool about it, so I'm getting so carried away, is you don't have to just do it on one side. You can almost do through the junctions, several of them. So like if I do this, can you see how it's it's just like beveling them all up. Beveling them all up. However weird the angle is, you're just extending to the inner joint. Isn't it so effective? And it's really satisfying. And the angle which you do it should correspond to the point on the other side, but sometimes you end up like sort of bending the lines a little bit because you think, oh no, that can't be right. Okay, let's do it in this direction. So to the corner, through the corner. Every junction and every corner is going to have this bevelly line. Bevelly line? That sounds really weird. This line that creates the bevel. So it's almost like a Union Jack there. So vertical, horizontal, and the diagonal lines are there. Like this is just going to be so satisfying. Watch this one. So it's going to go like so, and like so. Put these points on. And let's do this junction. These wide junctions seem as though you might be doing it a bit wrong, but actually it's fine. Now, even if I did nothing, I'm pretty like loving this. I'm pretty loving this. Is that a phrase? Okay. I don't think it's a phrase, guys. I'm pretty loving this. The power of doing this in pencil is also very good because everything is the heaviness of one line. So I'll show you in a second how cool that can be. Oh. Whereas when you start using colored pencils or pens like I did earlier, sometimes you can have too strong a black line or too strong a line. And so it kind of removes from the illusion because it looks like a drawing. So doing this all in the same shade of one thing, which is pencil, works. There's some amazing drawings by people who do this on mid-tone paper, where you draw on mid-tone paper and then you're adding highlights and you're adding shadows. That is gorgeous. But just in case you don't have that kind of paper, let's just do it here. So mid-tone literally is colored paper that is somewhere in the middle, not white, not dark. And you can get it like in shades of brown and gray. It's really cool. Okay. Now, have I done them all? Gosh. Let's check. So literally you're going to check one shape at a time. So do. So 1, 2. So that one I haven't done. Let's do this. So visual check of all of them. Haven't done that. Haven't done that. Yep. Haven't done that. And then this. It gets really like dodgy looking. So you can do this as a pencil drawing on a piece of paper. Rather than me transfer it, I just wanted to cut to the chase and do it on here. So, you know, like this idea of adding light and shade to an existing thing, we're going to do the same with this, but we're going to now just shade in certain parts of it. So what I'm trying to convey is that this shape is elevated and these are the sloping sides of it. So if I was to draw a 3D version of it, wish me luck. So let's see, let's draw this. It would be something like that, and I'm saying that these are, oh, that's not bad actually. These are the beveled edges of it. So it's sort of sitting like that. Okay. And so if we add some shadows, a little bit here, but nothing here, and the light's coming from here, you can see how it looks as though it's sitting on a page. I'm quite pleased with that dodgy sketch. Let me make it a little bit darker so you can see what I'm waffling on about. So this is what I'm thinking is the illusion of what I've just created. That something's a raised platform. So in that case, if the light is coming from here, then what I would like to do is create shadows on the other side of the raised platform. So for example, this one's on this side of the platform, And you can do them lightly, just like you did before. Like, don't be too worried about making it so perfect. Okay, let's check that. There we go. And we'll do that for every single shape on this side. I just realized that that's there. And if we do it light to begin with, we can darken some up if they are more in the shadow. But to begin with, it's like I'm leaving the top blank and leaving the top two sides blank. Okay, so this and this are shadows. This is not, this is shadow, and this is shadow, and this is shadow. So you've literally got to imagine the light hitting that particular shape. This one, oh, I didn't even do that, guys. I thought I checked it. So this and this are receiving light, this receiving light, this is not receiving the light. And this is actually receiving the light, and then this is not receiving the light. Okay, this one, maybe some of the light. So anything that I'm not sure of, I'll just do in my shadowy shadow ways. So this one, light. Okay, in that case, this is shadow. Okay, so going around, doing all the outer shapes first, adding shadow. And if you want to make this a little bit more of a finished piece, you can do it as a pencil drawing, or you can do it using coloring pencils or pens, whatever you have. And I would say it's good to do as a color study in one color first. Like, don't be too keen to just go colorful first. Let your kind of give yourself a chance to see if you can understand how and where the shadows hit and sit. Hit and sit. So I think I've done all the outer ones. And if I look at it, okay, so yeah, that I think is a shadow because it's underneath. And what is it if I'm not going to make a couple of boo-boos? Okay, let's do then the next set, which might be easier to do because it's almost like the others are like a clue as to what I need to do. A clue as to what I need to do. All the way around. So again, what is my habit of staying clear of anything that I'm not sure of? I'll come back to them in a second. I think, without having a completely perfect sense of what it is you're doing, you can still create that optical illusion, which is what I like. I had somebody who basically molded this in 3D and then actually made the shapes and then put light, and it was so clever. It was very effective in her kind of learning to see these shadows. I was very impressed. Oh, another line missing. It's crazy. I've done all this and I still didn't spot all the lines. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this and this and this and this. Oh, another line missing. And then this, another line missing. Sorry. There we go. I think at this stage it can look like really, so all of this centerpiece, you could say everything on the bottoms and on the right is going to get a shadow. Yeah. Oh, another line missing. Oh my God, it's like deja vu. So you actually have created a lot of shadows. Now, if we really think about this light coming in properly, what you might then think is actually some of them need to be, so if you think of there's going to be spaces that are receiving the light, then maybe something a little bit medium, and then you could go darker. And actually, you could expand that to be more than 3. Okay, so I've just done it with 2 colors and it's quite effective. If you then, used like a white gouache or a white color like I did, you can make some of them look even lighter, but it's effective. The other thing you can do is on one of them, I made it look like a raised platform. What would happen if I colored in all of these shapes, okay, like they're the background of this? Then you've got yet another illusion. Let me just think about how I'll do that. So is that somebody speaking? Okay, so yeah, you could then create these as holes, but my problem when I do that is that the edges, they look incomplete. If you look at the middle, they all look like they're double lines, but on the edges, they don't. So if you do want to make this look like it's 3D, let me just show you an amendment you can do to it, is then you can thicken up this outside line so that, see that cross? It's actually got its thickness. So I'm sort of changing it a little bit just so you can see how you can make it look even more 3D. You're going to have everything popping off your page soon. And that slight change, how are we doing for time? We're doing good. Okay, so if I did want it to look proper, fully 3D, you could just give it this outer look. I think then that actually makes it look like the chiseled lines I was saying I was avoiding, but I'll show you what I'm going to fix it up with. So every single line now is doubled up. And I'll show you the thing that is, there we go. There we go. So then these, you can then make sure every single one of them is continuing the 3D effect for all of them. And every single one of them, except I missed one again, is now incorporated. This is rather lovely. So, again, I'm saying I'm doing it on tracing paper. So let's have a look. I want to really make it pop off the page. So imagine every single one of these is like a plaster thing. I can literally pick it up and put it onto a wall. So maybe the shapes are now holes. They're no longer a platform. They're something like, let's see if I can draw it. Let's see. So this is your shape, and it's basically something like this. Oh, I don't know if I've got the ability to draw it. Something like this. And yeah, I can't draw it. So this is now all underneath. So rather than me try to do a dodgy sketch, let's actually just make that happen. So in this case, let me just figure out one thing. I don't think I put any shadows on this one. Okay, let's put in these shadows. Now, imagine for the outer ones, I haven't done all the lights, so I'm just going to do the shadows where I've got them, and then I'm going to color in some of the shapes. So these are making these additions on the edges be part of the gang. Yes. This is, what have I done here? Shadow. I think I've got too many shadows here, but let's see. Okay. My shadow work is, as per usual, being shadowy. Have I done that bit wrong? Okay, so light, shadow, shadow. Okay, the other thing I would say is in me changing it, I'll confuse myself. If that happens, don't understand the shadow now, the new edges. I know, Subhatra, I think I messed up. But I would just show you how you can connect, how you can fix it. Because as long as you've got your light there, you can then remove some of them as well. Why is the top left double? Okay, Subhatra, got you, man. I messed up. Don't need to rub it in. So now that I've added something, it's actually made it a little bit more confusing for me and for you. So let's just reinvestigate. So this is one of the things. It's like literally a study. If I hadn't have done that, I would have been happy. So yeah, so this and this, light. Okay, so I actually, by adding this addition, what I've done is I've made my shadows become inconsistent. And as soon as I added that in, perhaps I should have recognized and noticed that. So, like that first place is where I was like, hold on a second, there's shadows on both sides. So yeah, that's my little mistake there. But let me now darken them, and then I can actually fix it properly, rather than just panic. So that's quite funny. So I'm just going to darken everything that I think is genuinely a shadow, and that's when it will try to pop. And then when anything says a mid color, it will then be okay. I mean, if I'm not making a mistake, like why am I even here? Okay, so you can see those four, just with that four now that you have got that idea of it sinking and so on. So it's now changing to be a popping off one. So all of these channels, they're holes now between them. So they're like so. So one of the advantages of doing it mid-tone is if you do mess up like me, you can go darker and you can fix it. And in a way, I love it when there's a mistake that happens, which guaranteed in my little work happens a lot, and then you can fix it. So any of these inconsistencies here, I'm just going to be working left to right, darkening things up. Okay. And I'm hoping it will look effective by the end of it. And we'll pretend that I did it all deliberately as a teaching thing. So if you do want it to be risen, in a way you paused at that one and it's done. But now I'm actually making it look like they are the channels and these are holes. So I'm transforming it, which is a wild idea, I know, but I was just getting carried away. So that's why it was probably useful for me to have the midtones. So I'm going to carry on and almost change the whole purpose and look of it completely. And because I feel like I've done this before, you'll hopefully still have the effect. So I've just darkened everything up and just confusing the life out of everybody. which is my fill in life. Maybe we should have just paused the video when I got to that stage. We just got carried away. What am I supposed to do? So I can see it clearly in some places and definitely not so clearly in other places, but the darkening it up is helping me really fix certain parts of it. If the shapes are raised, there is no need for the second outline. I know. God damn it. Anna B, Anna MB, Anna MB. I basically got carried away. You know, when you see something in your mind's eye, then you execute it, then you didn't think it through. That's literally what I've done. But I'm not gonna hide away from the way my brain works. Literally, I'm like this. So yeah. So it is rescuable. But what was the kind of the saving grace of this going from the raised to this is I did everything mid-tone. So therefore, if I then add a shadow on this side, it it isn't so kind of hard to make the light tone there on the inside. It's a mid-tone. Okay, we've got about 8 minutes. I think I snoozed your mention and I got lost. Your mention, I don't know what you said. What does that mean? Okay, so however you do it, if you do the raised platforms, or if you do what I've ended up doing is change it to channels, you can see how it can be transformed. I paused and I stopped at these raised ones and it was really effective. But now I've gone to sort of them being sunken and it's changing it up. But it's all there. It's all happening. Let me put in the last few shapes and then we've gone from raised to sunken, which I think is quite a crazy transformation. Not that I quite planned it this way, but it's okay. So again, pausing to see if I can see what's going on, and then I can. Is that a thing to do in life, to go from the raised to sunken? So every so often I am pausing and just checking what it looks like. Maybe this is what I get told off on the internet when people say, oh, it's inconsistent, because somebody is inconsistent. You also have a really, really good thing that when you're working with pencil, you can then start erasing things. Okay, so let's just have an examination from the left to the right. Thank you. It looks awesome anyway. Anna MB and Subhatra. Wow, magic on paper. That was crazy. How did that even happen? So I can see in the middle here my inconsistency and change of plan has kind of gone a bit weird, but it's kind of okay. That's going to be the light. That's going to be the light. That's going to be light, light. That's going to be shadow. So here's something weird's happening. And I'm going to do something where I'm going to just lighten this up. Please don't. There we go. And lighten this up. So some of these areas that are looking quite, what's the word? Kind of murky. They're not looking like light or dark. I can now kind of fix up a little bit. Okay. So, I'm going to get there. This 3D illusion. Let me get a different pencil. It's happening. It was all going so smoothly. I had to sort of, what's the word when you jeopardize it for yourself a little bit? It's okay. It's okay. I'm just reassuring myself, guys. So here I can see that that should be light. And what would really, really help, look how murky it is. What would really help if I made the shapes dark. But I'm not going to do that just yet. So with enough clues, it's like my brain is able to now go from one to the other. So I will say I'm going to put a little time on my when I put the recording up, that when you get to a certain stage and then just leave those shadows alone, you've got these raised ones, but now having transformed it to this, I'm committed to this and I just need to look at it. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to lighten this bit a bit. There we go. So light and dark, light, light, dark, light. Oh, let's lighten this. Let's lighten this. Let's lighten this. Let's lighten this. Okay, let's do this shape. So we're going to lighten that. Lighten that. Okay. So again, I'm just going through each of them bit by bit and lightening things where I'm thinking the light will be hitting it. Again, thank goodness I didn't commit to anything too dark too early on because it would have been... So this area and this area, they're parallel to the light, but I'm going to put that light in, put that light in. This will be a shadow. Oh, yes. It's like I'm now attuned to it a bit better. So working your way around, putting in the lights, putting in the shadow, you can fix all sorts of trauma created by me. It's fine. What was I saying? There's no such thing as an emergency in art. Unless you create one like I just did. Oh my God. Okay, this is a shadow. Oh yeah. Now, like I'm really loving it because it's making sense again. And this is a shadow. And this is a shadow. Put the light back in there. Put the light back in there. Yeah, so that wasn't quite planned. I didn't even realize I was doing it as I was doing it. I was just like a bit absent-mindedly going from one to the other. Okay. There we go. Okay, wow. So if you want to get traumatized by shadows, look at the state of my hands, by the way. You can do so. So definitely my recommendation is just keep playing, keep having a go. And this idea of having a light, a dark, and a medium, it allows you to, in a way, put in those shadows. You might make mistakes. I made loads of mistakes, and then correct them to go light and correct them to go dark. And so you end up with something like this, potentially. And again, you're just going through every single shape. And in this case now, every single line to check that it's got its shadow and it's got its light and it's got its dark. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And then you can actually get them all done. Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. I think this is a little bit going to be light both sides. Yeah, light. Actually, I think it'll be dark on this side. So light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Okay, now I'm just going to do every single one of these shapes. Light, dark, maybe a little bit of darkness here, not too much. Medium, light, light, dark, 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 light, dark on this side. Dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. Yes, that's fine. Make some of them sharper. And I think we have it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Why did I do that and then get it all traumatized and then fix it? Like, what was that? Guys, we've survived something here. Vanessa, sorry, I can't see my own chat here. Here we go. Thanks so much, Samira. I really enjoyed this. Are you sure, Vanessa? That was quite a journey we went on. And Ambi, very useful session. Loving the way you showed us how to change the tone and make raised shape sync. Honestly, I didn't even think as I was doing it that it would have such an impact. So that for me was a big learning moment as well, because I might have thought that they were kind of interchangeable until I realized, oh my God, they literally are not. So yeah, you might have that when you're doing it. And the best thing that saved the day for me is when I did the shadows lightly, perhaps from my experience of doing this so many times and going between right and wrong so many times. I've learned that I just can't commit to the dark shadow straight away. So even when I was doing this, luckily I didn't make too much of a mistake. But yeah, like literally, I think it's popping off the page. You could do this in a drawing. You don't have to do it on tracing paper. It's just like I just wanted to get something on the paper for you to do. But yeah, it's really effective. And what's super effective, I have to just show you, is once you've got all this grubbiness, if you really, really, really like properly erase the white, the light bits, it pops so much. Okay, let's see if anybody's got anything they want to share or show. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. My mouse is no longer working. And let's have a look at everybody. Whoa, who's that? Anybody want to show anything? Kat, I'm coming to you.
Okay. I don't know if you can see it there.
Add spotlight. Yeah, you've thickened them up. No shadow work
Yeah.
just yet, right?
No shadow work yet. No, just
Okay,
just putting the lines on each side.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That in itself gives you a sense of how long it takes. So yeah, well done, well done.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Kat. Remove spotlight. I'm coming to you, Maria Claudia. I can see your lovely work. Oh, so happy. It's popping off your page. Brilliant. Oh my God, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. Thank you, Maria Claudia. Wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's so funny. I was mildly having a trauma. Subhatra, your camera's on. Have you got something to show me? Okay, no worries. I love it. Okay. Vanessa, I can see you holding up something. Okay, just a little bit further back. Teeny tiny bit back from the camera. Oh, then it sees your face and it cannot cope. You've got to cover your face and see if it'll hold you. Oh no. Yeah, it's blurring it, I'm afraid. But I can see some darkness, so thank you. Okay, Catherine, I'm gonna come to you next. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. Catherine.
I
Hello.
couldn't get the hello. I couldn't.
Oh,
I didn't have time to do the shading as well as the
yeah.
outlining.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
no,
sorry, it's freehand, so it's really quite wonky.
yeah, and also when you do your shading, just stick to doing a very light shade initially until you can see it, and then you can commit to darkening it. But yeah, I can see your double lines, and yours is on a
Mm.
brownish paper. That's going to be really
Oh
advantageous,
yes.
actually. Really
Oh.
good idea. Thank you, Catherine. Okay. Subhatra, you are holding something up. Let me bring you in. Oh, cool. Okay, different pattern. I can see something in the top left corner. Cool.
Yeah, I started it, but then I wanted to pay attention to you, so I didn't do much.
I
But I
think we
have it
realized
ready. I
paying
will
attention
post
to
it.
me isn't a good idea. Sorry, I talked over you. What did you say?
No, I said I will post it when I
Okay,
sit down
cool.
and do this.
Thank you. So you don't want to pay attention to me, guys. I'll lead you astray. Anybody else? Oh, Mariam, I can see you, but I think it's blurring you. Oh, you've got it. Oh, you are good. Oh my gosh, excellent. It's worked brilliantly. It's looking so
Oh,
good.
yeah. I think I'll definitely repeat it, but
Yeah. It's effective. It's so effective. So you must have gone on the same journey with me, changing your shadows.
yes.
But I can see it's popping. What a journey we went on.
Yeah.
I don't know why I led you up the path. I think I was just getting excited. So sorry about
I'm
that.
just glad I had the same pattern.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imagine if it was something different. Thank you so much, Mariam.
Thank you.
Oh, dear me. Lordy Lord. Okay. Any others? Okay, so I'm going to just hold mine up and look, I think it is effective. Yeah, it's worked. And at least you've got another technique. So do give it a go. And the biggest message for these things is practice. It really is a case of doing it over and over and allowing yourself, turning to a teaching point, allowing yourself to make mistakes. Oh, here you go, Vanessa. Let me just see yours before I wrap us up. Yay. Oh, Vanessa's looking good. Nice one. Yay! I'm loving the thumbs up. Brilliant. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining in. And let's see if I can remove spotlight. There we go. Thank you for joining me, and apologies for doing it so late. But yeah, these are things to play with. things to have a go with and really kind of elevate your patterns, because sometimes you've done the line drawing, maybe you're a painter, maybe you're not, but if you know that you can maybe do different renderings of it, it's brilliant. So I posted something on Instagram, which is all the different renderings I've done, and if any of them appeal, have a closer look, and I'm sure you can give it a go. Okay, all right. I'm going to
Thank you very
leave that.
much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining. Thanks for coming, and hopefully there was something useful before we got too traumatized. Oh my God.
Right.
Lord help me. I'm going to go and eat 100 plums. I'm going to post that on my Instagram as well, by the way. These plums, something else. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your week. All the best. Bye.
Ciao. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.